a name that would later strike fear to the citizens of the Soviet Union, grew up in Gori, Georgia, and was born December 21st, 1879. Stalin was born into a family of serfs. His father, a shoemaker, frequently beat Stalin. In his early years, he gained his education by being a student at the Russian Orthodox Church until he was 20 years old. He later began pursuing a career of workers' strikes, underground newspapers, and raised funds for armed robberies. This career may have been Stalin's first actions of aggression, and this might have provoked his future offensive actions. In 1905, Stalin met Lenin for the first time. Lenin introduced Stalin to the beliefs of Karl Marx and his idea of communism. He joined the Bolsheviks in 1903 and was appointed editor of the Bolshevik paper called Pravda. Since Stalin was introduced to Lenin when he became the editor of Lenin's newspaper Pravda, he helped Lenin become ruler in the October Revolution. To thank Stalin, Lenin rewarded him by making him the Commissioner of Nationalities. When civil war broke out in the Soviet Union, Stalin played a key role in leading the Red Army. Stalin used vicious tactics in order to destroy and kill the White Army. Lenin then became worried about Stalin's power and personality. He thought Stalin was too dangerous and ruthless to be a ruler. But when Lenin died and ended his rule, Stalin rose to power. Stalin was appointed secretary of the Communist Party. When Stalin became dictator of the Soviet Union, he issued the 5-year plan. The intention of this plan was to boost up Russia's economy and to industrialize the Soviet Union in record time. Stalin also wanted to increase the output of steel, coal, oil, and electricity, and to raise the national defense. Stalin then created collective farming. Stalin took farmland from peasant farmers and contributed the land to one big government-owned farm. Wealthy peasants, called kulaks, revolted, and as a result, thousands were executed. Stalin's actions slowly but surely raised Russia's economy. Starting in 1934, Stalin started the Great Purge. Stalin began to believe that he had enemies everywhere, and as a result, he killed millions of innocent people. During this time, Stalin spread propaganda, making people believe that all his actions were for the greater good. On August 23, 1939, Stalin signed the Non-Aggression Pact with Hitler, but Hitler soon broke the agreement and began World War II. Stalin's last year was fully devoted in the aiding and fighting in World War II. But on March 5, 1953, Stalin suffered from a stroke and died. Stalin once said, "Death is the solution to all problems. No man, no problem." Stalin felt free to torture, murder, to achieve his communist goals. Stalin believed in social Darwinism and survival of the fittest. He had intentions on becoming one of the most powerful dictators who ever lived. He also wanted to industrialize the Soviet Union in a time span of 5 years, when it took other countries 100 years. His ideology was centralism and a strong party of professional revolutionaries. He was also head of the Bolshevik political party, as well as the Soviet Union. Stalin was one of the most vicious and unforgiving men who have ever lived. He is responsible for the deaths of millions of Russians. Despite all the bad that he did, he also did some good. He industrialized the Soviet Union in record time. Stalin also resisted German invasion and created a state apparatus that protected the ruler of the country. This system remained in use for 30 years after his death in 1915. His policies transformed the USSR from a farming-based society into an industrialized nation with a powerful military arsenal, but at a cost of millions of lives. His actions also sparked the Cold War, when people began to distrust him and his army. Stalin also created a violent secret police that kept order through the use of fear in order to preserve and protect the Man of Steel.
Ready, set.
Go.
What did I do?
I can't reach that. Give me a mortar.
Go.
Ouch.
Go.
Oh, because owie.